Hey there folks, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to game 2 now of this best of 3 between TH and Nicker. Obviously both of them really strong players on Team Tyloo. TH is a super powerful, super strong, I just can't emphasize that enough, human. Possibly, actually I'd probably say he and Infi are just two of the best humans in the world, and obviously TH, obviously also one of the best elves in the world, and versus Nick, are sort of a recent Russian import to China. Really, such a good player though. If you haven't seen Game 1 already, I'd very much recommend you probably go and watch that first, because they will almost certainly be spoiling this game. Looks like we do have TH sending a very early militia scout, combined with the fact that he actually put his barracks down slightly before his altar, which is interesting. It's not too out of the usual, but it's certainly always interesting to see things, small changes like that. And this militia obviously was hoping to scout the Ancient of War was here, just so that he could pull the creeps onto it, but he will scout that it's here. And instead of pulling the creeps onto it, which could do a bit of damage, but often you'll lose that peasant, TH is obviously deciding to go for the more long-term scouting option of putting down a farm in Nicker's base. And he might cancel it, he might not. If he doesn't cancel it, which is probably the more, or if he, he might stop building it just before it's completed, in which case it's a lot easier to take down, but you can cancel it at that later on and you get some of your money back, but more likely he's going to let it finish because then it has a better armor type and it just lasts for absolutely ages, because you don't really want to have to spend your Demon Hunter time or your Archer time on attacking it. And you can, but often you see like an Ancient of Wonders put down next to it or something, which is why often it's put somewhere around here where it's a bit harder to get a tree next to it, but still nothing too unusual. We do have one Wisp now coming out to scout, and actually TH sending out his first footman to do some harassment as well, and he will be going for the Mountain King first. Interesting choice there by him. I do quite like that choice on this map, because you can actually do a lot of good creeping with the Mountain King. You aren't hindered in the way that you are on some maps, where if you don't have that Archmage you're really in quite a bit of trouble, but certainly fountain maps are probably ideal for the Mountain King, but still, this is a decent map for him, and looks like we will be having some very nice use of Lightning Shield to get some very quick creeping going on. And actually Nicker being a bit careless there, letting his Demon Hunter idle for a couple seconds, and we do now have Nicker actually doing some more scouting around here. But we what happened to that Mountain King? The Mountain King is now just about to finish, and actually you can see, because he built that barracks first, his Mountain King's actually considerably later than you normally expect it to be, but I think the reason for that is because he was wanting to build up a lot of footmen so that he can go for this creeping, which he otherwise couldn't have gone for immediately. And the Mountain King can actually creep this camp very adeptly, and if you're getting some good bolts off on that Renegade Wizard is really all you need to get, because then you can get your militia and footmen in to get a good surround on it, and they just take so much damage. Oh, Lightning Shield though, going to cause a huge amount of damage. We did see one detonate there on the Wisp, which is going to be nice. It drained a bit of mana off that Mountain King, I think. Actually no, it didn't by the looks of things, and so that will be denying the experience at very least. But this Lightning Shield just doing so much damage. TH has to pull back even a bit so he doesn't take too much, and he's actually be microing his footman back. Very unfortunate for that Lightning Shield to have gone off there. It's a bit hard to predict that, but we will be having Nicker creeping to level 3 now. As long as he can do this camp afterwards, that will get him his level 3, and actually putting up a Tree of Life here as well. So he will be taking an expansion of his own, having scouted that TH is going for an expansion and deciding that he doesn't want to harass. Though certainly, actually, it'd be interesting, because one thing Nicker could do is he could transition into Huntresses, which are fantastic on this map, and also fantastic against the Mountain King because there's no water elementals, and just do a lot of harassment, but that's apparently not his plan. Instead, he is going to be going for the sort of counter expansion, which will probably end up going up a bit later, because obviously he has to creep this spot out. He might want to use his Tree of Life for that, and TH can power build his expansion. So he'll be a bit later on, but certainly he won't be too disadvantaged. He certainly has done some very nice creeping here. We can see he's level 3 now compared to the level 2 on that Mountain King, and Nicker continuing to do some scouting with his Wisp, not in too much danger, because there's really little chance that TH is going to use a bolt and then run his footman in just to get the kill there. And even if that did happen, I think Nicker was keeping him at a safe enough distance that he might have even been able to get a detonate had that had a bolt gone off. But I think he was probably playing it very safe. We can see we no teching yet for Nicker, and actually TH is obviously very well aware of that as well, because he does have this farm in the base, and this expansion now almost done for Nicker, but does need to be walked in. We know TH very quickly getting his expansion up and running, and so both players will be on 2 bases very quickly. And it's interesting actually because we do actually a couple huntresses now being built, or at least one being built for him, but it's just not quite enough. We have an arcane tower going up as well, which is completely useless basically against huntresses, and sort of useless really against demon hunters. Not repaired actually. You could have pulled those 3 peasants to do some repairing, but a bolt now does go off from that Mount King, and Nicker doing a good job of keeping his huntress nearby so he can't get surrounded, but actually he leaves it alone for a second, and oh, he does get surrounded. Fantastic surround there by TH. A bit careless there by Nicker to leave his demon hunter a bit isolated, and even microing back that footman, they'll just eventually get taken down. But the big thing there is that he lost his TP, and that's just such a huge cost, especially when TH has his expansion up and running, and Nicker's still walking in his tree of life. He did actually TP to his expansion. That's very nice there for him. It's going to mean that he can actually start his creeping a bit earlier on than he otherwise would have been able to, but still he is going to slow him down a bit. Just in terms of actually he's not making best use of it. He is using his archer finally to pull in the creeps, but he could have done a second earlier too, and that would have been a slight amount of extra gold. And these sort of really close situations, that can matter a huge amount. And we do now have TH getting level 3 on his Mountain King, not starting any tech yet, but I think he actually might pick up a shredder. Yes, he does pick up a shredder. That's a fantastic choice there for him, because it means he doesn't have to produce a whole bunch more peasants, and just gonna give him unlimited lumber economy basically. Really gonna give him the free license to go down any tech path he chooses, and Nicker's still creeping out his camp, but did pick up +6 strength, which is pretty decent for him, and I'm not actually sure what time he TH picked up, but whatever it was, he sold it, so it can't have been that good for him. But he does have +8 intelligence, which is absolutely fantastic on that Mount King. Already almost 400 maximum mana on that Mount King, and using a clarity at the moment, and has another one actually, which he can use later on. Nicker is doing some more creeping here. Obviously, this is actually a map where you can get 3 mines up and running for both players. Actually, it looks like exactly what Nicker's going to be going for here. It's an interesting thing to go for because you can sort of get away with it to an extent. Tank play actually can become very common for the human, especially if he's gone for a shredder, because he's gonna have so much lumber. But it's really interesting, because what you can actually see often is players will expand to these corner expansions first, so that their third is much more protected, but that's not what we're seeing from Nicker, and as a result he's being caught very much by surprise here. His huntresses will be able to make it back in, but it looks like he's going to lose this entangled gold mine. It's going to be a long time yet before he starts mining, at least a minute to re-entangle, and meanwhile that TH now is going to have to, actually he doesn't have a TP, so it's unclear what his long-term plan is. Does he have a Zeppelin coming in from somewhere? No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like, he goes for the bolt on the Demon Hunter. He does get a surround, but it looks like, actually he surrounds the Huntress, which is trying to hold the Demon Hunter from being surrounded. Very nice play there. The footman does go down, but another bolt does go down on the Demon Hunter as well. Another footman goes down there, 48, and the Tree of Life is actually uprooted so that Nicker can get away. But another bolt goes down, and we have so many bolts. But look at this, a Zeppelin actually now coming in for Nicker to save him. It looks like TH actually has managed to massively fight his way out of what should have been a terrible situation. Demon Hunter and Huntresses and a Tree of Life versus sort of a Mount King and a couple of footmen, and actually TH comes out very much on the positive side of that, mainly because he has +8 intelligence and has so many bolts. But he finally does buy his own up, and I think he even picked up his Mount King as the glaive was in the air to cancel that clarity. So very nice micro there by him. Yes, he did, and that Mount King now going to be able to cancel this entangled gold mine yet again. But in the meantime, looks like this Demon Hunter actually gonna do a bit of shopping, then come back into that fight. And we do have 2 Ancients of Lore now coming up for Nicker. And it looks like maybe this expansion of the mine is going to be cancelled again. Yes, it will, and TH picks up and is going to get out of there. But this third mine is about to start, or the entangled gold mine will start very shortly here for Nicker, and TH doesn't really have a response for that at the moment. He is now starting his tier 2 tech as well, putting up a lot of towers here. A bit surprised by that. I wonder if he hasn't actually scouted out this third base. That certainly would seem like a reasonable thing to happen, because otherwise there's certainly not going to be much aggression from Nicker in the immediate while at least. And TH now running for it, actually does have 5 footmen and his Mount King in this weapon, does need to be able to get away here. Obviously the Hunters aren't going to be too useful, and the Demon Hunter with no orb, because there's no tier 3, isn't going to be a fantastic help, but still TH even drops there to get a bolt there off on one wisp. I think Nicker, yeah, he does have a shredder of his own, so he will be perfectly fine for lumber probably, although certainly 3 mines can press it. But it looks like we do have a counter third mine for TH about to go up in the near future for him. and this is Zeppelin now maybe going to be sent away. Looks like actually a maneuver going off here on this Mount King now. Mount King going to try yet again to take down this attack of gold mine, but I think TH is realizing that he's reached the limits of his harassment potential for the moment, so he is going to have to get out of there. But Nicker being really delayed. No, he's coming back in yet again, and Nicker not ready for this. Maybe the repair will be able to go off in time. Looks like Nicker isn't even trying to repair, being very, very confident in the fact that no, he's finally repairing there, but not with all his wisps. Ooh, very careless there. You can just set all his wisps to auto repair if in that sort of situation, that whenever they pop out, they immediately start repairing. But perhaps he just had built some new wisps there. But it looks like we will have Nicker getting into this base, doing a bit of maybe going to be able to kill a couple of these towers very, very quickly. The repair will be very beneficial. It looks like no masonry upgrades. Could that be right? Yeah, no masonry upgrades there for TH. That's really interesting there for him, and very nice healing that's going to be able to go on. But I think TH with so much money, actually getting tier 3 now, as well as 2 workshops, and maybe we are going to be seeing tanks here. We are getting the gunpowder upgrade, so it looks like tanks is certainly on the table at least. And we do, Blood Mage second, interesting choice. We've seen actually quite a fair bit of uses of that as a second hero to that Mount King against Stealth. Just it's very, very strong, because you can both steal mana, give mana to the Mount King. Actually, 3 things. You can steal mana from enemy heroes, especially things like Panda second, which is quite common against tanks. You can do things like give mana to the Mount King, which is so important. Ooh, an Ancient of War going up here. But thirdly, you can also do Banish and Bolt, and that just does so much damage. We do have the Panda second hero, as I say, very, very common in these large number of basis situations, because you do want to be able to take down those tanks quickly, which Breath of Fire definitely helps with. You can take down towers quickly, which Breath of Fire is fantastic for. It gives you a bit of tanking ability, and if they want to switch into something like Heavy Air later on, or even gyrocopters, then really both of those are really very hard countered there by the Panda. The Panda actually being transferred the Belt of Giant Strike just to give him a bit more durability, because obviously the Mount King otherwise can do a whole lot of damage. We do have Blood Mage immediately being put under a lot of pressure. Bolt going off there and Mana Siphon. That's a nice combination you can do as well, where you keep it in place with the Bolt and then siphon even more mana. It just becomes such an endless cycle. But the nice staff there by Nicker gets it out of the danger before too much mana is siphoned away, because it is going to be very, very difficult to get that mana back. Affordably at least, and that the Ancient War actually under a bit of attack. I wonder if Nature's Blessing has been researched. Yes, it has been researched. That's so important to get tanks, and it's also going to really, really help if you want to be doing any harassment here with these Ancients of War, or even just sort of warding away towers and forcing TH to actually dedicate his army to getting rid of that Ancient of War. That's a very nice decision. Actually, one footman goes down, but at this point, footmen are pretty much expendable. We do have TH doing some more harassment here, maybe going to be able to take down this Tree of Life, and Ancient of Wind going up as well. That's going to be very, very nice if we're seeing tanks. Obviously, the Fairy Fire and slow combination from dots and mud golems is very, very common these days. TH now taking up the Wisp, actually getting level 4 on his Mount King, and still very, very low experience on his Blood Mage. But finally the Demon Hunter comes in, gets off 1 mana bar, but there's not a lot of mana left. Nice Breath of Fire, takes out 1 footman, but nice pickups here. Actually, maybe could be able to save these, but it looks like a bunch of Dryas are in the fight, but they're not in the best of positions, and this Zeppelin's going to be able to get away surprisingly unscathed, and no expansion attempt for TH quite yet. And we do have one dot being built, but as I say, it's not going to be a huge part of the army, and we do need him to then creep out these merc camps to get slow as well, if he does see these tanks coming, which it looks like they are. As I say, it's actually a very, very good map for tanks. And we do actually have a very quick Griffin Aviary coming up. Often you see a much stricter dedication to tanks, especially if you're being outbased like this and outmined, just because obviously otherwise it's going to be pretty tricky for TH to actually control the map. But we'll have to see whether or not he can manage to do that convincingly and with just inferior economy. But we don't see any bears, or I don't think we see any bears yet for Nicker, and those are really the true oh, actually, we do have the master training just about to finish, but bears are just so important against those tanks. And meanwhile, TH, will he be able to get this level 2 off this last forest roll? Looks like he's not going to bother. 100 mana being drained there off that Mount King. Very nice. That's pretty much the maximum that he could have drained there. And that's going to actually, he's going to get lots of footman kills here. Nice Breath of Fire, hits a lot of footmen, and actually one tank being very poorly rallied. Looks like it's not only going to reveal the upgrades, which is so important there for Nicker to see, but also it's going to just take a bunch of free hits. And maybe, because we are seeing tier 3, we'll see a human staff soon, and actually it looks like it's being sent to take down these Ancients of War. One is cancelled, the other one will slowly go down, but it's going to take a long time, and in the meantime, looks like Nicker's actually going to be able to do a lot of damage here. It's going to be up to TH to do some harassment with his Mount King, with his Blood Mage, and with the 3 remaining footmen he has left. but maybe Nicker, no, Nicker doesn't look like he's going to see it with this Zeppelin, but he will presumably be able to anticipate it, because I was able to anticipate it, and it's really the obvious thing to be doing in this situation. I mean, it was one Zeppelin actually having picked up the two tanks. Obviously, you can only hold two tanks. Oh, is taken out by the creeps. Very nice play there by Nicker, aggravating those creeps so that they wake up and so that they take down that Zeppelin. Fantastic play there by him, and a huge win. You know, a couple towers now going down at this third expansion. The obvious pressure now being placed, and it looks like we do have one Agent of War killed, and another one or cancelled. Another one will have to be cancelled very shortly, but wasting as much of TH's time as possible so that the Team Hunter can get back into this fight. And this is a situation which I think buying two staff teleportation for your two heroes can be so useful, as long as you know where the Mount King is. That is just so important. Looks like, oh, we do have a surround there. Very, very nice. Do we have a staff? No, we don't have a staff on the Panda, but it looks like actually the tower being taken down. The tower, the weak link there. Obviously all those drives, the piercing damage, just so much damage. And now the Demon Hunter going to be able to go on a huge killing spree. Going to take down maybe, oh no, nice staff there. Actually staffing away his that's not something you see very often. You know, we do have some militia being brought in, as well as one Dragonhawk Rider. Interesting choice here. No animal war training yet, which is a great upgrade, especially against those Dryades. And looks like we will be having maybe a couple more footmen being killed, but another bolt coming in here. So much mana on that Demon Hunter, or on the Mount King, sorry. Even with all the mana burns and whatnot, there's just all the mana siphons and everything that really, really becomes so scary. And looks like we do have this Agent of War taking a bit of damage. It is actually going to heal as opposed to trying to take down this one peasant. But the Dryad actually coming in. Dryad will be able to chase away that Dragonhawk Rider very, very definitely. 2-1 upgrades on the Dryads, and I think 2-1 upgrades on the tanks as well. And then let's take a look. Yeah, 2-1 upgrades on those tanks. We will be seeing. Looks like he's actually queued up the second armor upgrade after he finishes his third attack upgrade, which is a good choice to get. We do actually have one Dragonhawk Rider. Looks like he was just doing a bit of scouting. He's actually going to take a lot of damage here. Maybe, yes, he does go for the shackles. Now that he's over the trees and can't be harassed. No, he can't be harassed. And this dot doesn't have bird form, so it can't help out in this battle. But it looks like this Hippogriff will slowly be taking damage. And there's not really too much that Nicker can do about it at the moment, unless he builds another one. Yes, he has built another one, but will it get there in time to save this one unit? No, it doesn't look like it will be able to. It's a bit unfortunate there for Nicker, but he took a bit more damage than he really wants to. But finally, a couple bears on the field, and bears are just so threatening. And actually, look at this Agent of War wall. Obviously, you do want to uproot them when the tanks come, but otherwise, keeping them rooted is very nice to prevent those towers from going up in a convenient position, because obviously, you want to be able, you want them to have mobility and to take the reduced damage from siege tanks. But otherwise, if you can have them in with their fortified armor mode, that's very nice. And look at this. This is such classic TH tower placement. Actually, Infi as well loves to do this as well. And looks like he will be very slowly pushing forward. And Nicker actually might scout this out, but actually, we do have a bit of an engagement going on here as well. We have a Paladin as the third hero as well, and that is a very nice tri-hero combination that we've seen a lot more from TH recently. We saw him beat Moon with it actually not too long ago in a game that I casted, but it's just such a strong guy. It's so durable, but then also it has a huge amount of single point DPS, which is so important. One siege tank now coming down to here does have those 2 upgrades finished now, and will be able to he's actually going to very much continue with these tanks, as well as now getting out some Griffins. So a combination of Bear Dryad is really the combination Nicker needs. But oh, getting 2 bears cut out here, one bolted, one bashed. Very nice there. And actually, ooh, looks like he's being a bit careless, but not enough. Oh, actually, he does have enough mana left for a rejuvenation, which he doesn't use, but he does actually force 2 wasted bolts there from Nicker, which isn't the end of the world, but certainly not ideal. Anti-magic potion being used by the Steam Hunter as he runs in, but a bash coming off immediately there. Still enough mana for another bolt when the anti-magic potion runs out. Not anymore, but he does have a actually he's being siphoned mana, but he does also have a wanded mana stealing as well, which he can use. Rejuvenation now on the Steam Hunter, keep him alive. More tanks coming in now. Gonna try and take down these Ancients of War first, because they do otherwise do too much damage and do get in the way as well. But look at this, even bringing in the Griffin Rider as well. Very nicely played here. Dot in the back. Now I'm going to be casting a Fairy Fire onto these tanks, which is just very useful there to make them take a lot more damage. And a lot of Hippogriffs coming in. 3-1 upgrades on the Hippogriffs as opposed to 1-0 with no animal warding. That's definitely going to be a good fight here for Nicker. We know the tanks are going to take down the second Agent of War, and really going to be able to start going to town on the Tree of Life. Very nice play here by TH. Very solid. Actually adding a couple more tanks at the back, and it looks like both the Hippogriffs getting banished. Very interesting play there by Nicker, keeping his by TH keeping his Griffin Riders alive for a bit longer. And we do not have this Tree of Life taking a lot of damage. and maybe the repair won't even be enough. He does have to uproot it, and that will mean he takes a bit less, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point. No, he does lose it, although he did manage to stall these tanks for a long time, so he did take a lot of damage on them. In the meantime, actually, we have another fight going on here, an Ancient Protector going up, which is going to take a lot of damage from the Siege Engine, but maybe the Dryad will be able to at least do enough damage while it's being stalled. But so many Ancients board here. Will TH be able to do anything about it, because the heroes are surely incoming? Yes, here comes the Demon Hunter and the Dot coming in as well. So useful combination, and Mount King immediately getting burnt before he can use a bolt, which is very unfortunate there for him. But it looks like a lot of Hippogriffs now in the fight, really giving him air control, which is going to dissuade TH from ever doing anything in the air, but he certainly has to make a transition eventually, because it's really tricky to win with tanks on them, especially on such a small map like Terranist. And looks like we will be having a Tree of Life. Probably going to stay alive because of the bad position here on these tanks. And I'm amazed, do we not have any staffs on these human heroes? No, we do have one staff, because he staffed away that footman earlier. I'm amazed we don't have more staffs, and that he isn't using them more judiciously. Actually, oh, he did use one on one Griffin Rider there, but still, it's very common to see loads and loads of staffs. Sort of 3 staffs is so common these days on the human tri-hero when you're going for these high value units, especially on a map where there's only 2 expansion places for each player, so you really do need to make the most of your gold. And it looks like we do have this attack finally being cleaned up here for Nicker, who does have level 5 on his Demon Hunter as well as a TP, but as I say, I think that staff interpretation to get into battles is so useful, as long as you know you're not going to be bolted and killed as basically as soon as you come in, because you might not have a whole army to support you with rejuvenations and with staff to get you out of there. We do have the tri-hero from TH doing a bit of creeping now. Does want to get level 3 on his Paladin quite badly. Actually, as well as level 5 on his Mountain King. I'm surprised, because obviously you get a lot less experience from this hero combination, because tank killing things doesn't really give you much experience. It does take you a bit longer to level up, but really that level 5 is so super critical. One shackles go off, but immediately a staff being used, very nice. And I think the tri-hero from TH is just so strong. He's so strong with this tri-hero combination that really Nicker does need to do something special, whether that be getting a 3rd hero in anticipation of these longer games. I'm not quite sure what it is, but you do need to do something interesting. Lots of people actually say, very incorrectly in my opinion, that chimeras are the ultimate counter here. The obvious thing to remember is that obviously they do magic damage to tanks, which means they do 30% damage, and they're super slow, so really I disagree with that very strongly, unless you're going to be going for a very strong counter-attacking plan, in which case I think there is some validity to that. But nice around there on these tanks, actually getting 1 kill immediately, and a second one will go down, and maybe, no, it looks like 3 more tanks are coming in actually to a very bad position. I think that's a bit of a mistake here by TH. Really does need to be sending them to the weakest places, but he is actually doing a counter-attack here with some of his air units actually being a bit sloppy there with his micro, and looks like he does almost have that level 5 now as Mount King, which is so important. His tanks almost just being like a disturbance there. And look how many Hippogriffs we do have being built. Obviously, Nicker must know TH's style by now, know that he likes to switch to air, and so it's just he's even getting a second Ancient of Wind in anticipation of the fact that it's very likely that an air maybe a night transition later in this game is likely. But look, so many Hippogriffs can actually be very useful, because even though we only have 5 units here, actually still no animal war training as well. Just you need to have absolute dominance, because otherwise those shackles and the bolts and that whatnot just really destroy you. And also they provide very good scouting, which is so critical against tanks, because otherwise you're just in such a bad position. Actually, look at the Shredder was transferred as well. Actually, that's because Nicker has 100 gold and 2400 lumber. Just the magical effect of that Shredder is so great. And we do have TH finally managing to get this expansion up, but with super large amounts of tanks, or with towers. But obviously the Breath of Fire from the Panda, level 2 Breath of Fire at the moment, will be level 3 eventually probably, because you do get a fair bit of experience now from killing tanks and from killing all those air units as well. And so we will see how if he can take down those towers with the Breath of Fire later on in this game. TH now taking down one of the Ancients Wind, but another one was built. The Moon Oath is such a good thing to be taking down with tanks, because they're so hard to defend. You can't uproot them or anything like that as well. And we do now have a nice air battle going on here. So many purges being used by TH. very nice use of the low cooldown on that, and the Blood Mage now being forced to TP away because he was very, very low, but a bolt now coming in, still no level 5 on that Mount King though, unfortunately, and wow, just so much damage. Look at these bears, 3-2 upgraded, and some of them with Roar as well. I'm not actually getting Roar and Steam Hunter or a couple of his tanks, which is a bit of a mistake there, but it's not the biggest mistake in the world. Meanwhile, Nicker going to be doing some shopping, probably buying a TP, maybe a healing scroll or an invul pot, or actually an anti-magic, which would be useful as well, but he has a lot of good items as well, so maybe selling the Claws of Attack, as crazy as it sounds, might be necessary just to make his heroes as strong as possible, because obviously having strong heroes is so important. Look at this, another cannon tower being built. We saw them used the last game as well, not to a huge effect, but certainly it's nice to see them, and they can be very, very strong, especially with that fortified armor, and he does now have all 3 masonry upgrades, and we do now have Slippers of Agility being ignored, actually. Oh, I actually bought a staff teleportation. I really like that for the Panda. It's obviously it's good on both heroes, but the Panda, especially with that Breath of Fire, can be so deadly. You know, I think we should be having a couple more Ancients of War being rebuilt here for Nicker. Nicker at 74 food compared to 49 from TH. So TH really hugely outmining Nicker at the moment by having this low army, but very, very high value army with or very, very strong defense army with lots of heroes and high value units like Griffins and like Dragonhawks, which are just really, really good in their specialist battles. And look at this, we have a flying machine transfer now, or it's just going to be very interesting to see, because you have to be so careful with your flying machines. They build so quickly, but they can go down so quickly to a level 3 Breath of Fire, which is forthcoming very, very soon. This Demon Hunter is not in this fight, so he will be able to get very, very close to level 5 now on this Panda, and the Steam Hunter now coming back in does get bolted almost level 6 on the Steam Hunter, which is another great thing to actually have against flying machines, so you do need to be careful. And he has actually shown his hand there with his 3-3 flying machines, and they are pretty scary against the Hippogriffs if you're not super careful and fighting in the correct numbers. Nicker can be in a bad position, but TH now, he is passing 50 food. He must be now that he's built all these flying machines, but flying machines build so quickly. They build as quickly as a peasant, and they have huge area of effect damage if you use them correctly. And meanwhile, it looks like we do have a bit of damage being done to this Paladin. He can always be staffed down, but it looks like a bolt goes off as well as a mana siphon. Very, very nicely done there. The Steam Hunter being prevented from getting that level 6 he so desperately needs, and maybe we'll see a Breath of Fire going off at the last second. There's so many flying machines. Yes, he gets one very nice Breath of Fire there, but all the level 5 now finally hits for that Mount King, and look at all these flying machines immediately lowered down. You don't want to use a staff on them, because obviously there's so many of them that you don't really get good value from that. You don't really want to have to repair them, because that costs, and also there's the opportunity cost of that, because you have a shredder, so you don't have too many lumber peasants, so you often have to take them off gold, and I mean, it's just really annoying, and you can't use the scroll of healing or anything to heal them. And look at this, another air battle going to go on here, and looks like Nicker does realize he does have enough hippogriffs to chase these away. Obviously all the armor upgrades are so useful for him in this situation, because it just really affects with all the really damaging attacks that otherwise would be hitting him. And looks like we will be having a TH being forced to run back here, realizing he doesn't have air dominance. He's even called militia, but he's realizing he's having to take them back, and this is actually something you rarely see, but it's one of the things I love about Warcraft 3. 3 armor on a militia gives them 10 armor, which is just insane when you compare it to 3 armor on a bear, or we will see eventually is 9 armor, and that's just so insane that it's so high on militia. It's higher than footmen by a considerable amount. It's really amazing. You can see knights at 3 armor, it's only 1 more. Really, militia, there's no practical use for it, because no one really wants to use militia, especially against like a level 4, almost level 5 panda or anything like that. But it's just really nice that they actually do scale decently, and they can actually be used to decent effect later on as good meat shields, especially when you have things like lots of mortar teams, 3-0 upgraded mortar teams, bear in mind, because of those tanks. And ooh, look at that, mortar team actually does take down that 1 dot that was in the army. The knight is going to go down, though. Level 6 now hits for the Demon Hunter, who does just have enough mana. He has a couple mana to spare, but get this Metamorphosis going, and now he's going to be looking to push for an attack before this Metamorphosis times out. And looks like we do have a Breath of Fire going off, taking a lot of those flying machines down to very low health. Look at them, they're just on fire so badly. The flying machines do, bear in mind, have a very limited ability to attack ground, and we do have the Hippogriffs now moving in, taking out a lot of the heavy air units. The flying machines are basically all gone, and TH now in a terrible position, really being forced into the back of these towers. And we do have an Divine Shield being used by this Paladin, but he's very low on health. The Panda now pushing forward further and for using an invulnerability push, and healing light being used on the Mount King to keep him alive. The staff can't be used, but the Paladin's finally taken down, and now we do have a TP, but it's to this base, so TH probably TPing out here somewhere where we can't be quite sure. Yes, he did TP here, and it looks like that will give him a couple extra shots, but I'm not sure how much longer he can stay in this fight. The Mountain King now taking a lot of damage. Obviously, he can be purged if it really comes down to it, but that's very situational. And this Blood Mage doesn't have a huge amount of mana left, and the Demon Hunter now on the killing streak, so powerful, and looks like he will be having him chased down into this into the back of another base, and a purge going down, and or not purge, sorry, banish, and we will be having these bears finally chased away. But that one bear, you can see how quickly it goes down to a banish and then a bolt. Such a powerful combination, and you really don't need that third hero, so instead you can have something like a Paladin, which will do a huge amount of healing and really be very good at increasing the durability of your heroes. And looks like we do have the Demon Hunter coming back in here. Does get bolted and siphoned though, and actually we do have one Griffin Rider actually making it back to the battle as well. But it looks like actually, ooh, nice staff there, getting it right before the hippogriffs do close in, and we do now have a lot of focus now going on these heroes, but eventually Nicker will give it up, and maybe he could now try and push the expansion, but it will be very tricky for him to do so. He will need to take down a bunch of towers before he can even get to the peasant line, and in the meantime we do have level 5 now, and the Paladin almost level 6, which is going to be so strong if he can get that level 6, because it just means that things like going for bolts to try and focus that panda down are much less effective, because when it gets to low health you can just use a Storm Breath and Fire, really get into a you can really survive for a lot longer and put a lot of pressure on your opponent, and then just walk out. I think it's the highest level panda, or the highest hit point panda, and then that's where your panda will reappear. So it's always fun to do those sorts of little tricks there, as long as you can get away with it, as long as your panda isn't too low health before the Banish Bolt comes in. And we do have an orb being bought here for the panda as well. That's a very smart choice, I think, because it does mean that we do have just so much anti-air capabilities, as well as, I mean, if you have that much gold and you don't want to be spending it on units, you may as well spend it on something. Look at this, only abolish magic being researched now, and that's really because he hasn't had 2 ways as well, so he's actually wanted to abolish, but it's one of those things where just because you have so much money, you don't want to be in a position later on where you don't have it and you're needing to pump drives from all your ancients of lore, so you may as well get it now, just in case. And actually looks like we will be having this Griffin Rider, which was here before and was Staff Dome, at least I assume it's the same one, being forced to run away, and is yet again Staff Dome, and another Banish Bolt going off on the Demon Hunter, who has more than enough for Metamorphosis when he has a chance to use it, and that's going to be another thing that's so powerful. Meanwhile, more tanks coming in here, going to be able to take down these Moonwalls. Actually, we might have had something there, I think I saw a little ping there, but not anymore apparently, and looks like we do have these Moonwalls being taken down, some at full mana as well, and actually the panda unable to use any more mana. Well, actually this bear could take a bit more mana off the Moonwalls. If they're going to go down, you may as well use it on something, and unless you're worried about being siphoned, I guess. And we do have another Bash going off here, and a Bolt as well, no Banish, but we will be having this bear being taken down, and more tanks just rolling in constantly. Obviously there's good defense here, so it's much harder for TH to attack there, but if he has this sort of a position with his heroes as well, he can do a bit more, though certainly against the very high levels of Nicker's heroes, it's going to be much harder for him to do anything. And another nice mana burn actually goes off on this Mountain King, who immediately drains 50 mana off the Demon Hunter, but Demon Hunter now using Metamorphosis, going to chase away the Tri-Heroes, which is really all that left. Actually, another nice staff there. We do finally have multiple staffs being bought there. All 3 heroes finally do have staffs, and that's just so useful. You know, level 4 now in this Blood Mage. These heroes are getting mighty scary here from TH, and Nicker's really going to need to do something about it. And looks like he actually might have called Militia again, but he's pulling them back. And we will be having the Paladin now on the run at the back here, but I think there's probably 1 staff charge left. I think only 2 units were staffed down, so he might be lucky. Actually, looks like he's sending out more tanks yet again. Bit of a distraction, but also it's going to mean that he can pick a fight yet again, and Nicker's going to know that there's a clock on him in terms of he needs to be able to deal with those tanks quite soon anyways. And you know, we do have a lot of units just being repaired here. You can see these tanks repair for free, which is so nice with the use of that staff. And we have very little left here of the original base here of Nicker. He is uprooting his Ancient of Wonders, probably going to move it into a more useful position, because you do want to be, that's not really the place where your hero is going to be very low on health or something, but that is definitely the place where you're going to be able to want to buy healing, or somewhere around here is definitely the place where you're going to be able to want to buy healing potions on the run and things like that. And let's see, we do have another bolt going off here to take down this bear, and that does get staffed home though eventually, and we will be having Nicker yet again pushing out, going to be trying to maybe get a mana bar off. Yes, he does get one off on the Mountain King, though still enough for one For one bolt, if he needs it, Paladin gets Staff Dome when he was low, and a bolt there. Bolts do so much damage to a Hippogriff because Hippogriffs have so few hit points that really, if you get it much below full health, they can really be taken out by one bolt, and that's such a useful thing to be able to do, especially as I say in these low gold situations, and where you really want to be preserving every unit, which is exactly what TH is doing now. You know, TH actually losing a Shredder there, which is a bit careless, but he is going to be able to get through with his heroes. You know, he is doing a lot of damage to these Moonwalls as well, and actually Panda not using this. Yes, he does use it at the last second. Very nice there by Nicker. Unfortunately, he couldn't use that Breath of Fire slightly earlier, so he regained a bit more mana, but still not the end of the world for him. And you know, bear in mind the Tree of Eternity is here, so that's where all units will staff to from now on. But actually, I wonder, Nicker can't have that many Moonwalls left. I wonder where they've all gone. Looks like actually another Moonwall taken down there. Oh, he's built them all here. Interesting choice there. He's going to have sort of his new defense is going to be here, and Siege Engines now moving in to take down that base as well, but it's not going to be successful in the long run, but it might do a bit of damage. You know, we do have another nice staff there, actually another staff as well, and this Mountain King's going to be all that's left, just running for it at this point. We don't have enough for a mana burn, but we don't also have enough for a bolt, and the mana for the mana burn will come first. And actually it looks like these Ancients are actually now going for the Ancients of Lore, which is a very strong choice. This mine has actually now mined out by the looks of things. So there's not actually too much strategical value, apart from the fact that Nicker has chosen to build all his Moonwalls there, which is a bit unfortunate there for him, because it's going to be he can't staff back, or he can't staff preservation back to his Moonwalls, which is always very, very useful. You know, I like this choice here by Nicker, picking up a Mud Golem, very, very useful, because when you're trying to make your heroes as durable as possible, having them being slowed is so bad, especially if you've staffed your other two heroes home, like it happened a couple seconds ago. But when Haze and Fire goes off on the Mountain King does have to be staffed down. Maybe now the Blood Mage will be a bit vulnerable. Bear in mind, the Paladin will soon have enough mana and can actually be transferred mana from the Blood Mage if it gets really bad. But looks he's actually running for it. Will this oh, he banishes himself. No magic damage, but maybe the Breath of Fire is slightly too short, and this Blood Mage now might be able to get away. Fantastic play there by TH. Really, really nice, but so unfortunate there for Nicker that he didn't actually manage to do more damage there. And it looks like these tanks were eventually taken out, but a loss of one Ancient of Lore, and this Entangled Gold Mine only about 3 minutes left of finding. You know, this mine has so much more left, 5,000 gold left. That's like 8 minutes of gold, and that's so much more. It's gonna mean that Nicker's gonna be in a very bad position. You know, this Blood Mage very low on health, does need to be healed up. This Paladin will have the mana very, very shortly, but Clarity Potion's undoubtedly about to be used. Yes, there we go there, and now the healing can go off, and maybe even a couple staffs, but you don't really want to incapacitate all your heroes when you're in such an army disadvantaged position like this. And it looks like this Ancient of Wonders does go down, and now the tank's going to run for it, but won't be able to get anywhere, and won't be able to staff home as well, because all the heroes are so isolated at this point. Without that, oh, the Mountain King is finally back now, so maybe we will be seeing a bit more pushing out here by TH, who has one Griffin Rider and has been so durable. You'd think that he'd lose all his area units so quickly, but he's just been able to take down this Hippogriff so quickly. At the same time, he's just been able to banish and purge and or sorry, just banish, not purge. He's just been able to banish and to staff home his units when necessary. He's been very, very durable with them, and you know, these creeps being taken down. 3-4 on his two support heroes, whereas Mountain King now is very, very high level, for level 5, and just that's really the highest level. I mean, Avatar is beastly, but it's the bolt that really does the huge damage. It's nice to be sort of immune to magic, or to mana burn and things like that, but at this point with the Blood Mage, that's much less important, especially. And we do have the D100 now coming in. Will he be bolted before he can get mana burn off? No, it looks like both happen at the same time, and that does mean that he's going to lose a whole bunch of mana, and at the same time, maybe even TH could be able to get away. Looks like, unfortunately for Nicker, if he had sent these units up here, he could have gotten a nice surround, but unfortunately that's not the case, and now this Blood Mage could have to be staffed home after having lost a lot of mana. Should really be staffed home sooner rather than later, so he doesn't lose as much mana. He's got a nice bolt there, just as the Demon Hunter was closing the distance to get the mana burn off on the Mountain King, and now the Mountain King, though, no more mana from Overwatch, because he did get mana burned once at the beginning, and now the Panda, you can see, is hesitant to move in, and actually Nicker looks like he's going to be going for an attack on the only mine expansion of TH, which is a very good choice at this point, assuming he can keep it alive. I think maybe he can force one here to be staffed home first. That'd be very, very nice, especially if it was the Paladin, because obviously otherwise the Paladin could just heal up for faster, for being brought into battle faster. And I think really, yeah, just the pressure here is so important here for Nicker. Actually, even having one low siege in here, which he could bring in at some point. Looks like these Griffin Riders actually now are doing some harassment. The Tree of Eternity now doing the mining, which is so good because it means that this Tree of Life, which I believe is the one from here, can just sit around, and if this mine is ever taken out, he can just start mining with this Tree of Life. And also it means he's a concentrated area where TH has to attack if he wants to be going for an elimination base raise. And we do have actually a couple of low units from TH being forced to be staffed him. But it looks like, oh, can he get the paladin kill? I was just saying this is so important. Looks like he isn't quite surrounded. He's Nicker's just trying to get the block off, and looks like it's, even though it's level 1 divine shield, he might be able to get away. Nicker actually being a bit casual there. I think he might have thought he got this round and then went to look elsewhere, but I'm not sure why else. Maybe he was just worried about the staff capabilities. But still doing as much damage, mana burning as much as possible is so useful, because that's really the huge cost to TH at this point, is buying all those items, because obviously he's taking a lot of damage on his heroes, which are so durable, but at the same time he just needs to spend money on keeping his heroes alive. Looks like he goes for the surround, but no, just as he gets it, staff goes off, and this is really why Nicker does need to push, because otherwise you can get single bears being focused down, and then Nicker will eventually be able to not rebuild them, because he is out of gold, even when he has 76 gold in the bank. So really what he has now is never going to get any stronger. He needs to just start pushing now, and if he can't finish it off, then he's lost, and TH is going to take this. But if he can take out this mine, then TH is in a terrible position, because then what we can have is Nicker just comes in, gets off a breath of fire, and on, say, towers or whatever happens to be close, and then staff zone, and TH is going to be unable to engage within the actual, outside of his towers, so any other situation Nicker is going to win. It's just if he can be massively outproduced. TH is 3,000 gold in the bank, so he can produce a bunch of units, and that he can have one last stand basically, but apart from that, the Panda and Demon Hunter combination is just too strong, especially with that metamorphosis. So really it's going to be up for Nicker to do something now or survive the push, but I think really doing something now is the better choice, because otherwise the huge amount of gold might just build up. He's even bringing in all his buildings that can walk here. Very, very smart choice. It means that it's just going to give him that extra bit of durability, and he knows that if he can't win this fight, that he's just going to be in such a bad position that he may as well be undefended. So he's just going to let that all come, and it looks like actually he's leaving a couple, or one Ancient of War, Ancient of Wind, Ancient of Wonders there, which is a bit of a mistake here, but it looks like a bunch of damage actually being done here before the fight actually starts by the Griffin Riders, which do so much damage to Tree of Lives, and Tree of, really all trees when they're uprooted. But it looks like we will be having the Hippogriffs moving in here. Probably one bolt will go off. Actually, ooh, this is very careless there by teacher. Not careless, but it was a mistake. Banishing one and then bolting the other, which would have taken it down normally. But a staff goes off. Bear in mind, the staff now only goes to here. So keeping this Tree of Eternity in the fight is a huge risk if either of his heroes get down low. But at the same time, Nicker just being stalled from actually engaging in this fight. And this cannon tower actually going to stop, or disincentivize at least any trees from moving close, and then rooting, which would obviously be very nice against the guard towers, but very bad against the cannon towers. But TH now finally under attack. We do have both ultimates being used here by Nicker, as actually a bunch of the trees in the background going down, and Nicker now finally managing to win the air fight, because the heroes are a bit separated, and now taking down the towers as well. Maybe he's going to be able to take this fight, and with that, the game, as I say, TH still has now 4,000 gold in the back. He's still banking. I can't believe that. He still hasn't produced too many units, and actually now bringing in one tank here, that's going to be so useful for him. He's going to be able to take down all those Moonos, and really put Nicker in a bad situation where he needs to keep these trees alive, and they're not necessarily in the best position. Actually, he might be able to retake this mine for a couple minutes at least if he can take down this town hall. But it looks like we do have a nanosecond now going off on the metamorphosized Demon Hunter, which is taking a bolt as well, but still a huge number of hit points, and does have, bear in mind, still have that potion of greater healing from a lot earlier on. Panda now moves out of Storm Earth and Fire mode, and will be able to continue taking down this town hall. The Tree of why is he moving the Tree of Eternity back? He could just move it here, unless he doesn't have any whiff, but even then he could rebuild them. But it looks like a bolt now comes in, and we will be having another, a staff, nice to keep it alive, and just the focus obviously on bears from Griffin Riders. Bolt and banishes is so strong. Bolt goes off there with no banish, unfortunately. Demon Hunter now going to be taking a fair bit of damage, but shouldn't be too worried. That's actually banished again, so it does need to be careful at least, because obviously he doesn't get staff to too far away. But it looks like we will be having the Mount King yet again healed, still only level 5, but as I say, in this situation, level 5, I mean level 6 is good, don't get me wrong, but it's just the huge mana costs combined with the mana bursts and all the bolts you need to be getting off, because you do have that banish, you don't want to be wasting it. That really means it can be a bit tricky, but another nice staff there on that bear to keep it alive. And we do not have the tri-hero from TH a bit on the run. This mine was taken down, so it is available for Nicker to take if he wants to, but I think, or I'm not sure what happened to his Tree of Eternity. It might have actually gone down or something. The Panda now finally running back into this battle, And I think actually, yeah, maybe that Tree of Eternity did go down to the Griffin Riders a bit earlier on, because I can't see it on the map. It can't have walked too far. No, it has actually walked this far, and I'm amazed. You think he would be looking to retake that expansion, because that would be very nice. He would also deny TH that money, and TH, bear in mind, has still, I assume, has that huge gold advantage. Yes, he does. He's now producing units, so finally, now that he's not mining, he doesn't need to worry about upkeep. So he's producing more tanks. I'm amazed by this. I think he'd go for just that heavy air army. Maybe he's too worried about that Panda Haze Fire, though, and the tanks will allow him to go for that base race situation, which he really, really wants. And bear in mind that if this is best of 3, so if TH loses this game, then it's 2-0 for Nicker. He wins it and does very, very well, because this is a very important match in the ECL, as we can actually see here. And Defender now, maybe we're going to be seeing an attack here on this side, but actually the Hippogriffs now scanning at the huge ones, more tanks that have been built, and maybe we will be seeing them being taken out fairly quickly. The Panda now moving in, but the tanks are going to run to within the range of these couple towers, not too many towers, but very nicely defended. This is very old, like Reign of Chaos style defense for a tower, although Reign of Chaos was much more compact, because the Breath of Fire wasn't something you had to worry about then. And I'm amazed actually we still have these towers still running, but long distance mining here from these pens. And where's that Tree of Eternity gone? Has it finally been taken down? Perhaps it has. And we just have so much going on in these games. Hippogriff now being banished, and will he be bolted? No, he won't, but it looks like it's not even necessary. The Griffin Riders will be able to take it down. No, actually it stays alive. Wow, I'm amazed it's alive. Actually, Siege Engines, they got their anti-air upgrade. Now could actually be alright, because there's so many air units here from Nicker. It could be pretty useful in a situation where he taking down buildings. He could be going for a base race, but it certainly will be tricky for him. Panda now being a mana siphon, which takes him down below the amount of mana he needs for Storm, Earth, and Fire. Doesn't have a magic potion on mana potion on him either, and we do not have the Metamorphosized Demon Hunter doing a huge amount of damage. Bloodmage now being banished just as he gets down to low health, but a nice Breath of Fire takes him down. Very, very nice play there by Nicker, taking down that Bloodmage, and maybe this is the end now for TH. TH does need that super strong tri-hero combination, because otherwise he doesn't have the mana. He has enough mana for one more bolt. He gets a bolt there, but look how much mana this Demon Hunter has left, and a greater healing potion. Very, very nice play there right here. No, the Tree of Eternity, wow, he's really gotten some good miles in this Tree of Eternity. He's actually brought it here now. Now the Mount King now in a very bad situation, being forced to run for his life. The Paladin was staffed home, and once it comes out of its staff form, it can get it healing off, but at the moment the Mount King just needs to be on the run, so close to level 6 on that Mount King as well, and looks like this Paladin might actually be taken down, because he's stuck in one place, and yes, he will be taken down because he's not adequately defended. So nice play here for Nicker, who might now take this series 2-0. Very, very strong play here. TH with not a lot of gold in the bank. He is buying back his Archmage, but his Blood Mage, but he has no real way of getting that Paladin back anytime soon. Tanks meanwhile taking the last couple of buildings. Nicker does need to be very, very careful, because if he loses a base race now, this could be so bad for him. Oh my god, he only has about 3 or so buildings left. I can't quite count them, but it's certainly not many. He's going to lose his Ancient of War, and because there's so many tanks here, and maybe TH can pull this back to a base race. He does need to do everything to protect this one Moonball now. Oh my god, this could come down to a base race. Can these, 7 tanks? Yes, they can take down a Moonball. Nicker needs to put all his units in a close position around there, but even then, how is he going to move out afterwards? Yes, look at this fantastic play here by Nicker, although his Panda should probably be a bit further up here, so he can get more Breath of Fire off, but still, it's not a huge thing. Maybe he's going to have to be going with solo Demon Hunter, just sending it in to try and do a bit of damage, and hoping that there's not too much that TH can do. TH still long distance mining, but very, very slowly here, and Nicker, bear in mind, is being revealed now, so it will be obvious that this is the only building that he has left, and there's so many tanks left. I think maybe TH can do this. Oh, is he gonna buy a Zeppelin? Oh, if he bought a Zeppelin and then drop the tanks behind, he could do. Oh wow. Oh, there's such huge potential here. He could even buy a second Zeppelin to do them both at once if he has the gold, which he does not, but he's long distance mining, so he has time, and I mean there's nothing that Nicker can really do at this point apart from send out his one Panda to try and slowly take these down. But looks like these tanks, I assume he's saving up for Zeppelin. If he is, that is so smart. Oh my god. If this Panda finds the tanks, then maybe he can get off some good Breaths of Fire, but otherwise it's going to come down to, can the tanks drop back here, and can the Dryad and Demon Hunter and the Panda as well, because the Panda will almost certainly be staffed on, but the Panda being caught out now isn't bolted in time, unfortunately, and yes, Nicker now being revealed finally, so it's very apparent now what's going on, and oh, maybe TH isn't going to buy a Zeppelin. That's a bit unfortunate. I thought that would have been a very smart move, because actually maybe he doesn't realize how well defended this is, because obviously tanks are never going to really get through this, and Panda now really desperately needs to be the thing that's moving out, but also needs to have the ability to get home, which against this Mount King can be very, very tricky. Another tank being produced here, and I'm not sure there's much Nicker can do. We might be going to a third game, just as I was about to predict that TH had lost this game. Looks like we will be having the Hippogriff scouting out what's going on here, at least scouting out one of the tanks, but oh my god, so tense now. This is just, oh wow, so close. We have this long distance mining going to be doing so much for TH, because there's no clock on him whatsoever. He can just spend his time mining as slowly as possible, and Nicker knows that very, very soon there's going to be something coming, and he just needs to be so ready for it. He does buy a shop. I wonder if it'd be good for him. Oh, ooh, look at this. I just had an idea. He could sell a bunch of items. He does have one wisp here. He could use it to sneakily build a building if TH commits everything to this attack. That'd be very, very nice. He does have another wisp. No, it's a hippogriff up here. So yes, it could all come down to what this one wisp can do. And look like Nicker knows he has this wisp around at very least. But oh, could it be scouted out here? Oh, he needs to keep this wisp alive. Oh, but oh, this is so unfortunate for him. The paladin is now back as well. Oh, if he could build something with it. We do have a bunch of gold as well as a huge amount of lumber for Nicker, so he's probably thinking that himself. And if TH scouts that any items have been sold, oh, all these tanks being scouted out now. Now finally TH has some sort of small clock on him. Oh, but oh no, oh, this one wisp could be taken down. Oh no, oh Nicker, all your hopes rested on being able to rebuild something very quickly. But it looks like he ascended the tanks, realizes he's blocked off here. This one wisp being chased down by the paladin, one of the slowest heroes in the game. And the paladin turns around. Maybe Nicker's going to have a chance. Oh, and it looks like Metamorphosis is already being used. Mana Siphon being used, and there's nothing this Sparrow can do about it. Maybe if the Demon Hunter and the Panda were interchanged, and he could send out the Demon Hunter to do a bit of a damage, but still, damage isn't really something that's important at all. This Wisp now being brought around, he needs to be so careful with this Wisp. This is his one chance to stay in this game after everything goes down at these, oh wow, huge Breath of Fire there. Oh, look at these tanks are taking so much damage. TH realizes he has to push out now or never. I'm amazed that he's bought a mortar team. He could break his way into the back. Oh my god, TH is being even smarter than I was, and I thought I was being very, very smart. Oh my god, look at all these tanks now struggling to get into the tanks. Now maybe they're going to have a path, and yes they do. Where's that one wisp? One wisp. Oh my god, did the one wisp go down? Oh, looks like this might be in here for Nicker. Looks like that one wisp did go down at some point. I'm afraid I didn't catch that, unfortunately. No, it didn't go down. Where is that? Yes, oh, here it is here. Tree of Life being built here by Nicker, so he's now not only, alive, but he's not being revealed, so there's no apparent place where that is being built for TH, and TH now in a lot of trouble. Does need to find that out. He's a lot of tanks left, and they all have low hit points, but that just means he can scout a whole bunch more places, and oh, they might be going in the exact right direction. That'd be so nice for him. So unfortunate for TH. They didn't have air in the area. Zeph the Panda now being used to staff. 2 here. Obviously, it's not apparent where that is, but to TH, but oh, TH might actually just scout that out immediately. This would be such a fantastic place. Yes, he goes there immediately. Fantastic map packs here by TH, who immediately, oh my god, one of the tanks is going to be taken down very, very quickly. Looks like it, but it will be just enough to force a third game here. Yes, it looks like this Tree of Life isn't going to be able to finish in time, and there we go. No GG, because obviously Nicker was immediately booted from the game, but oh my god, that ending, can you believe it? I couldn't even see that wisp for a second. I was sure that Nicker was gone, but he just stayed in that game. Oh wow, some people say tank games are boring, but I love them. So I hope you enjoyed that game, folks, and I'll see you very shortly for a game 3 in this fantastic series. I can't believe that game 2 caught game 1, but let's see what game 3 has in store.